Okay, so we're taking a deep dive into a chapter many of you probably know pretty well, Exodus chapter 2.
Right. It's that incredibly dramatic origin story.
Exactly. But we want to look a bit deeper today, maybe unpack some of the layers about, identity, danger, rescue, even divine action that are woven through it.
Absolutely. It follows this key figure right from birth, being hidden, then found, and then, well, grappling with who he is before fleeing.
It kicks off with so much tension. You've got this family from the tribe of Levi, right?
Yeah, and they're under this immense pressure because of Pharaoh's horrific decree, kill all the newborn Hebrew boys. So they hide their son.
But that can only work for so long, and when the mother realizes she can't hide him anymore, her response is amazing. Real agency there.
Totally. She doesn't just give up. She actually crafts this survival vessel, a papyrus basket.
Makes it waterproof, puts him in the Nile, strategically among the reeds.
And the Nile, which was supposed to be this place of death for Hebrew boys, becomes his cradle, essentially. Precarious, but still.
And his sister's role, standing watch, showing incredible courage.
Yeah, she's crucial. Which leads us to, honestly, one of the great ironies in the text.
Who finds him?
Pharaoh's daughter. Of all people. She comes down to bathe, sees the basket, hears the baby crying.
And her reaction is just
Uh,
human compassion. She feels pity. She even recognizes he's one of the Hebrew children.
Right, and that compassion completely overrides her father's, genocidal command. She rescues the very kind of child he ordered killed. It's powerful.
And then the sister, who's still watching, she just steps right in. It's brilliant.
So clever. She asks, should I go get a Hebrew woman to nurse the baby for you?
And Pharaoh's daughter says yes. So the sister runs off and gets...
His own mother.
Exactly. Think about that. The mother is reunited with her son, gets to nurse him through those vital early years.
And she gets paid by the princess to do it. It's just this incredible, almost divinely orchestrated reversal happening through these very human, very brave actions.
It's wild, isn't it? So the child grows, he's brought back to Pharaoh's daughter, and she formally adopts him, makes him her son.
And she names him Moses. The text explicitly tells us why. Because, she says, I drew him out of the water.
That name itself is so significant looking ahead. Drawing him out of water, foreshadowing drawing a whole people out of slavery.
Good point. So Moses grows up in this really complex situation. He's biologically Hebrew, but he's raised as Egyptian royalty, a prince.
And the text says, when he's grown, he goes out to his own people. He sees their suffering firsthand. He witnesses an Egyptian taskmaster beating a Hebrew slave.
And his reaction is visceral, immediate. He looks around, sees no one, kills the Egyptian, and hides the body in the sand.
It's such a pivotal moment, not just a crime, but it feels like this explosion of his internal conflict, right?
Yeah.
Siding with his oppressed people, but using maybe the violence he learned in Egypt.
It definitely forces the identity issue, because the very next day he tries to break up a fight between two Hebrews.
And one of them throws it back in his face. Are you going to kill me like you killed the Egyptian?
Whoops, the secret's out. Word gets back to Pharaoh, and suddenly Moses is a fugitive. He has to run for his life. His attempt to sort of violently bridge his two worlds completely backfires.
Sends him into exile. He flees all the way to Midian, a totally different place.
And where does he end up? At a well. Classic biblical setting for major encounters, right?
Right. And there he steps in again as a rescuer, defending the daughters of the local priest, Rule, from some aggressive shepherds.
But notice what the daughters tell their father. An Egyptian rescued us. Even miles away, his upbringing still defined how people see him.
That leads to him being welcomed by Rule, marrying his daughter Zipporah.
And starting a family. He names his first son Gershom.
And the meaning he gives is crucial. I have become an alien or a foreigner in a foreign land.
That name, Gershom, just perfectly captures his state. He's cut off from Egypt, not yet fully belonging in Midian. He's defined by being displaced.
And the chapter notes that while Moses is in Midian, years pass and the Pharaoh in Egypt dies.
But for the Israelites back there, things haven't changed. They're still suffering, groaning under the slavery. And crucially, the text says they cried out.
Their cry for help went up to God. It wasn't just unheard suffering.
No, it was perceived, heard on a divine level. And this is where the chapter makes that final, powerful pivot.
It says God heard their groaning. And then these really significant verbs, God remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
And remembered here isn't like, oh yeah, I forgot about that promise. It's an active thing. It means God is now aligning with his covenant promises, preparing to act.
And then it says God looked on the Israelites and God was concerned about them, or some translations say God knew their condition.
That concern, or knowing, is the divine attention that signals intervention is coming. It's the prelude to the rest of Exodus.
So as you think about this chapter, it's really worth considering that journey of identity for Moses' Hebrew baby, Egyptian prince, killer, fugitive, foreigner. How much do our circumstances shape who we feel we are?
And what does it really mean for God to remember a promise and be concerned? How does that divine attention actually change things on the ground? Lots to think about from Exodus chapter 2.